It's halftime. Hi, I'm Jon Fugler with the 154th episode of the Athletic Scholarship Podcast. I've got something special in store for you. We're halfway through the summer, and it's time to take a little break and get some perspective. So this episode will do just that. Last week, I talked about one secret that nobody's talking about, and I encourage you to listen to that. And this week, we're going to talk about 4 secrets. I went back and thought about what is the one message I wanted you to hear at this point in the summer. And actually, I gave this message 1 year ago, just about 1 year ago on episode number 99. If you haven't listened to that one, I encourage you to stick around. I've got it for you now. We got 4 secrets. So by the time you're done with this, you're going to know all the secrets to recruiting between last week and this week. So let's look back to episode number 99.
Pulling it all together for your summer recruiting success. This is the Athletic Scholarship Podcast, episode number 99. We're creeping up on episode number 100. I'm Jon Fugler, your athletic scholarship coach. I'm an author, speaker, and also podcaster, as you can see. And my book, called the Athletic Scholarship Playbook, is available to you in many formats, 3 to be exact. We've got the Kindle format, we've got paperback, and also Audible. You can get it all on Amazon. And I am a dad of 2 scholarship athletes, have gone through what you're going through right now. And after that, have helped hundreds, even thousands of families go through this same process and get in to not only the school of their choice, but get a scholarship at the school of their choice. It's an exciting, exciting world out there. And hopefully you're benefiting from the podcast episodes you've been listening to. I want to offer you a free resource. It is the Recruiting Power Pack that's available for you. Go get it at recruitme.com. That's recruit-me.com. The last 4 weeks, we've been talking about the 4 secrets to your summer recruiting success. Went through a lot of things. And what I thought I'd do here is just condense this down into one episode and bring you the highlights of the last 4 and see how they all tie together. Instead of listening to these as isolated episodes, but be thinking as you hear how this all ties together for your recruiting efforts this summer. I want you to succeed. And in order to do that, man, you have got to stay on course. The summer is short, so the lane is narrow, and I want you to win. I want you to come to the end of the summer and say, hey, I have won, whatever winning looks like to you by the end of the summer. If you would do that, then I think you would be happy, and I want to help you get there. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to run from one episode to the other, and I'll do a little transition in between so you can get an idea of where the breaks are, and you can even pause the recording and do whatever you have to do between each of these 4 secrets. However, let's get into them right now, the first week on secret number 1.
Before I get started in this, I want to let you know that a lot of people are going ahead and downloading the Recruiting Power Pack, and I would like to make that available to you as well. It's absolutely free. There are 3 elements in there, 3 pieces, 3 resources that will help you no matter where you are in the recruiting process. If you're just getting started, then you'll find helpful the PDF. It's just a few pages, the first steps to an athletic scholarship. That's perfect for you if you're just getting started. If you've been at this for a while, then maybe you need to go back and get refreshed. And that resource is good for you too. Then I've got the audio file that you get to pick up as a download, talking about how and when to use video. So an audio on video. And then the third thing that everybody can use, it is the player profile template, how to build that most important document. And it's a fillable form, and you can have that. It's all part of the Recruiting Power Pack, available at recruitme.com, recruit-me.com. And it's free. Did I mention that? So go and get it. Get started the right way, or get recentered in your recruiting game. Let's dive into this thing. The number 1 secret to your summer recruiting success. And that secret is, don't waste it. Don't waste it. What do I mean by that? Don't waste what? Don't waste what? There's 4 things I want to make sure that you do not waste. And it spells an acrostic, as we'll see at the end. So we're talking about waste here. Don't waste these things. You can waste your summer. You don't want to waste your summer. That's what it's all about. We can go into neutral, into low gear, and miss one of the best recruiting seasons, if not the best, that you have. There's a tendency to just back off, and we lose some time that we can't have back. So I want to go through 4 things here that will help you not waste the summer, and things you don't want to waste in the summer. So it's an acrostic. It's going to spell something. The first one that you don't want to waste, first thing is growth. So G. You want to make sure that this summer, you as an athlete or parents, for you to communicate this to your athlete, is athlete, you need to invest in yourself. You have blocks of time this summer to get to the next level. You don't have some of the responsibilities. Maybe you do have class this summer. If maybe you're in a year-round school, you're taking some classes this summer, but in most cases, the load is not as great. And for most of those listening right now, you don't have classes this summer. You've got blocks of time you don't get any other time of the year to invest in yourself, to get yourself to the next level of, I call, expertise. Expertise. As a scholarship athlete, you want to develop expertise in your sport. This is an opportunity to take the things you're good at and become better. Coaches are looking for athletes that excel. What are those things that are your strengths? Off the top of your head, what are those top 3 things? Parents, what are those top 3 things that your son or daughter excel in their sport? What do they do well? Those are things that coaches are going to notice. And they can get better at that. You can invest in a coach or a trainer, or like, for instance, our kids, we invested in hitting coaches. We invested in a pitching coach, and they got better and they excelled. How can you invest in yourself? Maybe you have your high school coach who's willing to spend more time with you this summer because they're excited that you're interested in getting better, and they can invest their time in you. So that might be one way of doing that. You may want to use this time to maybe get to a camp or some other instructional opportunity that you can invest in yourself to become better. Don't use this time just to if you're doing your sport, competing in your sport this summer, and it's maybe all summer long or most of it, it's easy to just go do it and compete and not pay attention to the fact that you can use this time to get better. So invest in yourself. Growth. Set a goal as to how you want to grow in certain ways this summer. 1 or 2 things that you want to grow in. Something you can measure and see. So growth is number 1. You don't want to waste the opportunity this summer to grow. Second thing, I'm going to use the O, opportunity. So opportunity. You don't want to waste opportunity this summer. I mentioned the opportunity to grow, but there are other things that you don't want to waste in the way of opportunities this summer. You don't want to waste the opportunity to visit some schools. Get on campus. See what it looks like. Even if you're a freshman, this is a great opportunity to get out and see what a college campus looks like. It's not as crowded. You may have more opportunity to visit some of the sites on campus, and even attend a couple classes, some classes that are happening this summer. So make some visits. Your chance maybe to visit a coach or 2 as well while you're on campus. Use this opportunity where you have a longer block of time. You don't have to rush to visit campuses. Start with campuses nearby or those that are at the top of your list that you're considering. Second opportunity that I mentioned is camps. Are there some instructional camps that will help you improve? Are there some recruiting camps that you can attend to be seen? Parents, I don't want to say go out and attend 3 or 4 camps because you could go broke on camps. Be selective. In my book, I explain the selectivity of camps and showcases. You want to be at these camps where coaches will be there from schools that you're interested in. Investing in camps is great. Not always a recruiting camp, but one where you can get great instruction. So see what's available out there and be selective. Spend your money wisely, but here's an opportunity to go to camps and invest yourself for a few days to a week in these camps where you can improve. The third thing, opportunities for showcases and tournaments. Tournaments are hard during the year, aren't they? There's so much else going on, but here you have this opportunity this summer where you can carve out the time and do showcases and tournaments. Campus visits, camps, showcases, and tournaments. Don't lose those opportunities this summer. This is an ideal time. The third thing, the A word, availability. Don't waste availability. What do I mean by that? Availability of coaches. This is high recruiting season. This is ideal for you. Coaches, all of them are out of season. They're recruiting. Take advantage of this opportunity to visit with coaches when you go on campus. Let coaches know where you're going to be competing so they can come out and see you, whether it's a camp, whether you're going to be in a tournament, whether you're just competing in an event, a game, a match, whatever, in their area. Get the word out to these coaches whom hopefully you'll already have a relationship with and you're already in contact with, but this is a chance for them to see you personally. This is a chance for you to go on campus and even meet with a coach. Coaches are available. Do not waste this opportunity of availability to get before them. Summer, as I said, is high recruiting season. They don't have to come and see you. You can go see them, meet them face to face. You'd be surprised how few athletes do that. They just sit around and wait. But you need to take the initiative and use the availability of coaches this summer. It's a big season. Don't waste that. So we have GOA, growth, opportunity, availability. Now, the last thing I was going to mention is starts with a T, time. But it spells goat, G-O-A-T. And you don't want to be a goat. No, you don't want to be a goat. So it didn't work out that way. So here's what I did. I gave it an L. Leveraging your time. Don't waste leveraging your time. You have, just as coaches have availability, you have availability. You can't get it back this summer. Once it's over. Then fall comes and you're diving into class. Maybe you're diving into your sport or one of your sports. Your time just disappears. So here you have the time this summer, and it's so easy to just say, hey, I want to take a break. I'm going to take vacation. You do need to take vacation. Don't pass up a family vacation. But use this time. Leverage it. I already suggested some ways you could do that by growing, by visiting schools, by seeing coaches face to face, by going to camps. Carefully map out your time and leverage the time you have. I'm not saying you need to use this entire summer for the recruiting process, but I am saying you leverage what you have. Leverage these blocks of time. Leverage these weeks or days. Sit down with a calendar, parent and athlete together, and talk about and plan out how you can leverage your time. You can't get it back. It only comes around once a year, this summer break. There you have it. GOAL, goal, and not goat.
Well, that's how we started the first week on the 4 secrets to your summer recruiting success. And without further ado, let's jump into the second week and the number 2 secret.
The Athletic Scholarship Playbook. It's the number 1 how-to recruiting book, a step-by-step book. It's a complete college recruiting roadmap for high school athletes and parents. It's available on Amazon. You can get it there. Go ahead and check it out. See if you want the Kindle version, paperback, or Audible. It's all right there on Amazon, the Athletic Scholarship Playbook. Also have a link in my show notes. Let's get on to this topic today. The number 2 secret is communicate. Communicate. It's easy to lay back in the summer because it kind of lay back. We vacation and that type of thing, and we don't communicate like we need to with coaches. But that same thing happens during the year. We have a lot more to do, more responsibilities, and sometimes communication is put on the back burner. I'm going to share with you 4 things that are simple, and you just remember these 4 words, okay? Remember these 4 words, and they will help you in this process, okay? And here's the first word. You're not going to forget it because it's first. Communicate first. Out of the gate this summer, start communicating with coaches. Get in contact with schools. Call them. Email them. Send them your introductory packet. If you don't have an introductory packet, that's okay. Take the initiative. If you contact coaches and they're asking you for more information, then that's going to produce a deadline that will motivate you to get your recruiting packet together, your introductory packet. Takes outside influence some time to do that. But communicate first. In fact, set a deadline for yourself. As a family, say by June 15th, we will contact 20 schools. We will make appointments with 5 schools or 3 coaches to go visit this summer. Communicate first. Get off the dime, make it happen so you can have a couple months of continued communication back and forth with some of them, but do not wait. Don't say, hey, we've got tournaments coming up, we've got a showcase, we've got a good long season, we've got a travel schedule, coaches are going to find my son, my daughter, he or she's going to be competing out there, we just got to get him or her out there, coaches will find them. No, that's not going to happen, and the time is so short this summer. Be sure that you communicate first. That's the first thing. Second thing, often. Communicate often. This is an ongoing relationship. I say that a lot. However, families miss this. Even if coaches express an interest in you and you think this is going great, if you don't communicate back with coaches, even if you have very little to say, I mean, you don't want to be trite, you don't want to be stupid, but be thinking of things that you can communicate to coaches about your high school athletic career, academics, other things, test scores, that type of thing that you can be communicating to coaches. But communicate to coaches often. Don't worry about bothering coaches. I mean, be a bother to them. Don't hassle them, but be there in their face often. If you think about being in their face often, then you'll probably maybe email them or call them often. All right? But having that mindset of being in their face, I don't mean that. But, show up, email, phone calls, even visits, communicate often with coaches. Here's the third thing, clearly. Communicate clearly with coaches. When you write to coaches, when you talk with them on the phone, when you have a chance to meet with them, be clear about, 1, what you're looking for in a school. Academically, athletically, student life, clear about what your goals are for your life, for your academics, for your athletics. Especially the athletics, you want to let them know why you're pursuing their program, why you're interested, where you think you might fit in, what you feel your strengths are, what you think your major might be if you know at the time, what your interests are. Be clear and specific with coaches. When they ask you a question, really be thinking that through and answer clearly and specifically. You can save a lot of time. And ask coaches for their specific and clear evaluation of you. There are clear statements of where they have openings if they need somebody that in your position that you can fill. Be clear with coaches. Don't talk around the finances when you get to that point, but be clear with them. Practice that this summer. You got to be clear all the way through. And the fourth thing that you want to remember about communicating is positively. Communicate positively with enthusiasm. I mean, you're pursuing that program because you want to play, you want to compete in college. You want to go beyond where you are right now. Parents, it's not your enthusiasm, it's your son or daughter, and it's not something they're going to make up. And maybe your son or daughter is just kind of a quiet person, but that's okay. But they probably are enthusiastic about their sport. If they're not enthusiastic about their sport, I would really question whether they're ready to compete at the next level, whether it's really something they want to do. And student athlete, as you think about that, if you're competing in your sport and you love it, you enjoy it, but hey, you're not sure whether you want to go on to the next level, then it's okay. You don't have to. You don't have to. Just enjoy it where you're at right now. But if you're one of those athletes, say, yeah, I want to compete, I want to continue, then go for it. But be enthusiastic when you talk to coaches. Speak positively.
Okay, we're building on the 4 secrets to your summer recruiting success, reviewing the last 4 episodes and condensing them some. So you've got these together and maybe a little easier to put together and to follow. We're going to go on to episode number 3 of the 4 secrets. Now, this episode I did on location, which was in my backyard. So you're going to hear a little bit of an audio difference. And why I would do that, crazy, not in the studio, it's because we're in the process of moving. We've lived in Colorado for 7 years, and we're heading off to North Carolina. I recorded this on the last day we were in the house in Colorado. I stepped outside, recorded the whole thing on my iPhone. You'll notice a quality change, but let's go on location for the 3rd secret. So what is that number 3 secret to your summer recruiting success that makes a difference in the summer, especially, that I want to get that message out to you? And here it is. That secret is quick response. Quick response. You want to get quick response from college coaches, especially during the summer. Now, the reason I say that is take a look at this summer and consider it as kind of a microcosm of a full year. You've got 2-3 months of summer, and you want to make sure that you get things going and get this cycle going of recruiting a lot quicker in the summer. You're not saying, well, this year I'd like to do such and such, and here are my goals for recruiting. I'd like to get response from college coaches in a couple months, and then deepen that conversation. And I teach a step-by-step process, 6 steps to an athletic scholarship. And in the summer, you're really taking that full year and compressing it. So you've got to get results faster in the summer. You want quick response. Quick response. I'll back up a little bit too, and I'll say that you can't wait for coaches to contact you, or you may not get response at all. Just because it's summer and they're looking doesn't mean they're going to find you as an athlete or parents your son or daughter. This summer, to get quick response, here's what I recommend. I recommend that you spend a couple or 3 hours, I've said this before, but it's especially important for your summer recruiting success. Spend a couple or 3 hours together as parent and athlete. Get away and spend some time going through what you think is your top 40 list of schools, top 40 programs. This isn't a once and for all list. This is a time that you need to do this. I would say get this done in the next week. By the time you listen to the next episode of this podcast, have those 40 schools taken care of. They're on your list. Get serious about it. One thing that you can do this week is make that list. If you already have a list and it isn't up to 40, then I would say get away and bring it up to 40. You need to cast your net wide if you're going to get quick response. You need a lot of schools on your list. You're going to initiate contact with coaches. That's what you need to do. And if you have a small list, your chances of getting adequate response that will carry you through the whole process is very small. Get away, make that list. It doesn't have to be perfect. You don't have to justify every choice, but at least get that list made. At least 40 schools. Here's the key when you're making that list. And here is the key to getting quick response from coaches. Make sure that that list isn't comprised of all your stretch schools. What I say is those programs you're saying, man, I would love to compete at such and such school. I love this program or that program. That's where I want to go to school. That's where I want to compete. Don't make that your entire list. You need some that are in your wheelhouse, ones that are perfect fit for you when it comes to academic, athletic ability especially. You got to have the stretch schools, but make sure that the bulk of the schools are in your wheelhouse. You got 40. Let me suggest this. Let me suggest that 10 of those schools are stretch schools. These are the ones that, man, you are going to have to really excel. It's going to be tough. If you can get a couple responses and a couple relationships going with coaches, that would be awesome. These are maybe even your dream schools. Some of them are. But these are stretch schools when it comes to your ability, when it comes to your academics and athletics. Then you want 10 that I'd say are going to be ones that you'll most likely, almost guaranteed, you're going to get a response from coaches. This may be a little bit below your athletic ability, may a little bit below what you think is your academic, but still good schools. You don't want to shoot really low. But there are 10 schools here, 25% of that list, where you can push out information about yourself, push out your player profile, your letter, your resume, and get response from coaches and begin that relationship. Why that's important is this. One, we all need positive response. We all need that kind of encouragement. We need to know that we're going to fit somewhere. And there are some of these schools that you may say, well, I don't think that I'm going to end up there. You may. As you find out more about the program, more about the school, more about the coaching staff, all these things, as you investigate it further, you may find that one of those schools is really the one that you're going to land on. But you probably never would have put your name out there and your profile out there if it weren't in, the top of your list. 10 schools there. So you got 10 which are stretch schools, 10 which are kind of guaranteed, and then the 20. These are the ones that are really in your wheelhouse. These are the ones that probably the top schools that you're going to be working with in the whole recruiting game. These are the ones that will make it to the top. These are the ones that will surface over time. These are the 20 schools that you're going to pretty much focus on, most likely. This is such an unpredictable thing. It really is. But you got to start somewhere. And these 20 schools, make sure those are the bulk of the schools you're going to be considering. I mean, those are the ones where it seems like it's a good athletic fit, seems like it's a good academic fit, maybe geographically it's where you want to be, perhaps the division level that you're interested in. These are the 20 schools in there. It may take some time to come up with this list of 40. This, though, is really your number 3 secret to your summer recruiting success. This is how you're going to get response from coaches. You make that list, and then you begin contacting those schools. I mean, this is rapid fire. You've got the list made within a week. Well, a week after that, you get that first inquiry out to schools. If you're already in the process, then maybe there's 20 additional schools that you're putting together on your list. You may already have a list of 20 or 30, and you're adding 20 more to it. Again, use that 25% as stretch schools, 25%, which are kind of the ones you can guarantee response on, and then the 50% that are right there in your wheelhouse. Those are the ones that are the center of the bullseye for you. This summer, I want to see you succeed. I want to see you have relationships developed with coaches. I want to see some of these coaches having seen you compete either in person or on video, but they've expressed an interest in you. They have the time you need to maximize their time and your time. I've said that in the last couple weeks. But this is the action. This is where the rubber meets the road. This is where you need to get out there, get quick response from coaches. That's important this summer. This could catapult you into this next year of recruiting.
Well, there you have 3 of the 4 secrets to your summer recruiting success. We'll get into the final one here and wrap it up. I want to remind you, too, that make sure you go to recruitme.com to
to get your free recruiting power pack. I've been offering that in the last few weeks. First steps to an athletic scholarship, when and how to use video, and also your player profile or resume template. All these are included in your recruiting power pack. There's audio in there. There's a PDF, which is easy to follow. And, of course, the template, which is a fillable form. Go get it at recruit-me.com. And don't forget, if you'd like a step-by-step complete approach, the best place to start is with my book, The Athletic Scholarship Playbook. If you're ready to go and make this huge, not only this summer, but the next year or two, however long your recruiting effort will last, I would encourage you to check out the Recruit Me system that's available at recruitme.com/system. I'll have a link in my show notes. I encourage you to go get that. It's a great investment for you. And to think about the tens of thousands of dollars that are out there for you in athletic scholarships, this will get you step by step through this. Final of 4 secrets to your summer recruiting success. Let's hit it. Here is the number 4 secret I want to discuss with you in this episode. It's this: think big and go small. Think big and go small. I want to use some examples to illustrate this, and maybe you'll get what I'm talking about. I'm driving from LA after my Dodger game, all the way back home, commuting back to soon-to-be North Carolina. And so I'm on my way. I decided to drive and not fly. I've got a long way to go. I got the end in mind. I got my home in mind. I want to get back to home soon. Hopefully I'll have done like 3 or 4 Dodger games to make the trip worthwhile. Getting there, I don't just set the car in that direction and go, and it's on autopilot. That's not the way it happens. But my big goal, I'm thinking big. I want to get home into North Carolina. However, I've got to act small. It's going to take several days to get there. My first day, I might be going to Phoenix. And to get to Phoenix, I've got to take, well, in this case, I-10 all the way. I get there, and my next step, I continue along. I may have to take different roads, make different turns, different interstates, and I will, to get to North Carolina. I'm not aiming for North Carolina on the second day. I'm aiming for my next destination. I'm aiming small. And inside that next destination, I'm even getting smaller. I'm thinking about, well, where am I going to have lunch? What kind of intersections am I turning at on interstates? There's a lot of decisions. Where am I going to get gas? How long will my car go before I have to refuel? Those kinds of things, smaller decisions that get me to the bigger goal. Think big. And I want to get home, which motivates me to act small in getting there. That's one illustration. Let's bring it back into where we are in sports. For me personally, I want to take you back many decades. My desire, as many baseball players, it was to be a Major League Baseball player. I was confident I was going to get there. That was my think big. I had to have that. I mean, I went beyond the athletic scholarship. I was going for the big dream, and there's no harm in doing that. You might want to do that as well. I want to be a Major League Baseball player. But I had to act small. I had to, one, perfect my fastball. I remember I went through a year or two with making some changes in my fastball that even though I had the velocity, it was straight, put some movement on it, made it harder to hit, and took me to the next level. I probably wouldn't have been able to compete in D1 college ball without making this change on my fastball. That was acting small. And acting even smaller than that, I just didn't come up with it myself, but I had a pitching coach who came alongside and helped me do that, gave me instructions, watched me in practice, watched me even in competition. Every pitch, every opportunity to throw the ball was a chance to perfect my fastball and make that changed. I want to be a Major League Baseball player. I had to think big, but act small. Another thing I had to do was to develop great mechanics. I couldn't just go out there and throw. If I wanted to compete all the way to the major leagues, then I had to have major league mechanics. I needed to develop those over a period of years. That was thinking small, acting small. Acting even smaller is I had to study my videos. That was acting real small. And in studying every pitch, you can see how you're going smaller and smaller. And I had to get somebody to shoot my video. That's acting small. I was thinking big and acting small, which is what you need to do. So for your example, let's take a look at this. You want to, in thinking big, say you want to earn an athletic scholarship at the school of your choice by 2020, if that's you, or you fill in the year as to when you're going to make that choice in your senior year. You want to earn an athletic scholarship at the school of your choice by 2020. If you think about that, crystallize that in your mind. That is thinking big. That is where you're going. That is your destination. That is the one thing you want to have happen. As you're thinking big, what is that one thing that you're shooting for? The one thing, narrow it down to one thing. Well, how does that relate to going small? Let's take a look at this summer, because that's what we're talking about, summer recruiting success. Here would be one going small is have 5 college coach relationships by August 31st. 5 college coach relationships by August 31st. You're narrowing it down. You're going small. Well, we need to go smaller than that because they don't just happen. You need to go even smaller. And that is, you could initiate contact with 25 schools to get those 5. That's going small. Oh, that's not small enough. What do? How do you initiate contact? Go smaller and say, you build your intro packet and send it to 25 schools, 25 coaches. But you got to go smaller than that, because that doesn't just happen. You got to get there somehow. So let's go smaller. And that is to set aside 5 hours a week on recruiting. Set aside 5 hours a week on recruiting. That's going really small, but you have to do that. You have to act. You have to go small in order to pursue that big dream. In order to earn an athletic scholarship at the school of your choice by 2020, you have to narrow it down and be thinking as to the basics. What can I do today? What can I do this week? What is your one thing this summer? Is it to have relationships with 5 coaches? Maybe it's 10 coaches. Maybe it's something bigger. Maybe it's something smaller. But what is your one thing? And you come down to the end of the summer and you say, I was successful because I achieved this one thing. Think big. Don't be afraid to think bigger than you might normally think. There's no harm in that. Then you're going to back it up and say, I want to act small. I want to go small. What does that mean in order to achieve that big thing this summer, that one thing? Focus on that one thing in your mind, and then play it back, run it back, and see what you have to do to go small. And let me ask you this question as we come down to the end here. How can you go small this week? How can you go small this week? And I'll tell you that you can't go small unless you're thinking big. It's not about activity. It's about doing the right things in order to achieve that one thing. Going small isn't doing minuscule things and staying busy. It really ties in to the overall direction, the overall goal, that one thing that you're trying to achieve. So as you think about how you can go small this week, I need to step back and say, as I asked, what is your one thing this summer? Can you answer that question? This is a parent-athlete combined answer. You both got to be involved in this. What is your one thing this week? That's what it comes down to. There you have it. 4 secrets to your summer recruiting success. all combined, all condensed, all in one episode, longer than 15 minutes. But I hope you appreciated it. If you'd listened to each of those episodes individually, and this was a review for you, that's great, because it does take more than once to be able to get something, especially when you're taking this and you're applying it to your situation, your recruiting efforts, your scholarship efforts. Hopefully this was helpful. Let me conclude by saying, if you have any questions, please email me, Jon, Jon, at recruitme.com. That's Jon, Jon, at recruit-me.com. Get a number of questions from mostly parents, but if you're an athlete, I encourage you to write me as well. And that's it for this week. Next Tuesday, we'll be on episode number 100 of the Athletic Scholarship Podcast. Until then, God bless you and have a great week.